to episode 2 of OBF Beyond the Physical. I'm joined here by Podge Collins, Clare duel star and Cratloe duel star. So welcome, Podge.
Thanks, Adrian, for having me.
No problem at all. So Podge, just your reflections on the 2017 season, your wins, your losses, your highs and your lows.
From a sporting point of view, I suppose 2017 was a bit of a nightmare year. It's kind of, since 2014 with the club, it's kind of been all downhill from regards to 2015 did the cruise ship, and 2016 going back had no success, and then 2017 probably followed that trend. I probably put a lot of effort in this year in 2017 in November, December and January. I really wanted to personally try and prove myself. I was like, okay, we've achieved great things with the club and with the county, but I want to try and get myself up to a certain level and try and prove. And I suppose that through the league then I was playing well, and I felt like I was playing well, and I felt really good, and I felt touch wise and skill wise everything was going well. And then at the end of the league, it was kind of like a slump. It was kind of like it was like I was after probably, I don't know if you call it pushing yourself too hard to start the year, but I probably just found it hard to sustain, and then things personally started going a bit downhill. And played Limerick, broke my foot against Limerick, rushed back from that, tore my quad 2 weeks before the Cork game, came back from that, got taken off again at half time, and then got taken off in the tip game after 50 minutes without playing well in either of the 3 games. So from my own point of view with the county was disappointing. Then with the club, the hurling as well didn't go well with the club. So, and then onto the football, I suppose I was playing well enough with football, but tore my quad for the quarter final, my other quad, and came back for the next time again, played 20 minutes, did okay, and then played the Kilmary Britain game, which got knocked out in, and the semi-final, and didn't play well. So overall a bad year 2017 looking back on it.
Yeah, but looking forward, of course, you're looking forward to hitting off again in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, exactly. Well, next week we're going away with Clare to Boston for this Fenway Classic, which is like a great opportunity to play in Fenway Park in Boston. It's going to be videoed in America and Ireland, and there'll be a bit of crack involved as well. So I'm going to head away for a few weeks after that as well. So it's a good opportunity. Listen, you kind of learned from 2017. I probably won't put as much emphasis on November and December and try kind of build it up as the year goes along, because at the end of the day, the championship is what's important.
Yeah, excellent, excellent. Who would you say is the one person who's had most influence on you over your life in general?
Yeah, well, I always say that when let's say, your parents have a massive influence on what path you take in your life. If your parents are going to regattas, or they're going to swim meets, or whatever they're doing, you're probably going to end up swimming, or you're probably going to end up rowing. Yeah. But my parents were always GA. They love GA. They love sport. They were bringing me to Turles, bringing me to Crow Park since I could walk, or even carrying me there. And so I suppose it was inevitable that I would go down the line of GA. So I would have to say that they've been the biggest influence on, let's say, on my sporting career, and probably they said every part of my career. Outside of my parents and my family, Paul Connor, probably, who got involved with Clare at under 18, had a massive influence on me. As a trainer, I found him unbelievable, so forward thinking. It was something I hadn't really experienced before, and I'd have to say between my family and Paul Connor, I'd have to say they're the two that had the most influence on me.
Excellent. What was the highest pressure situation you've ever found yourself in, and how did you deal with that pressure?
I'd probably say not in a good way. I did a science course when I went to college, and I did biology in secondary school, and I did well in it and enjoyed it, but I probably didn't, as a 17, 18 year old, environmental science was something that I was kind of doing through geography and biology in school, something I was kind of interested in, like seeing stuff like the Great Coral Barrier Reef will be gone by 2050, yeah, and stuff like that, and that stuff's interesting, like, and I was studying that in secondary school, and then I was like, oh, I'll go to college, I'll do environmental science, like, you know, you get into marine biology and whatever, and I kind of soon arrived at college and realised, geez, like, this is years behind, like, there's nothing going relevant. So chemistry, physics, physical chemistry, you know, stuff that like no relevance whatsoever really in my head. So I found that very difficult, stuff I'd never done before, and I found that very tough. So when it got to, like, let's say third and fourth year, when Clare were going well around 2013, I was basically coming up with my final exams, and these things were like double dutch to me. And I remember like ringing people in the college and being like, I have to repeat this semester next year, whatever, and because there's too much going on in my life, and sports taking a big aspect. I was working a bit and trying to do the college thing, and eventually, probably from talking to the right people, I just kind of calmed down a bit, yeah, and just got through the exams. But I remember walking through College Court, my bag on my back, my phone on my ear, and that was definitely probably the highest pressure situation I've ever found myself in my life, where pressure, sport, work was all kind of consuming me. And fortunately, since then, I haven't had that problem.
Excellent. Did you find the circle of friends, the circle of influence you had at that time, the people you went to played a big part in that for you?
Yeah, I suppose I didn't really go to like people involved in academia in the college. I went to people that I knew and people that I was friendly with, and they're the kind of people that just kind of told me to like take a breath, relax. You know, you mightn't do as well as you want to in an exam, but you will get through them. And I did. Like, I didn't fail any exams or anything like that. So, and I got on fine. So
excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So it was probably my friends around me and people that helped me through the course of my life that I thank for that, get me through that situation.
It's brilliant to have that support system, isn't it? If there was 2 bits of advice you could give your 15-year-old self, what would they be?
I suppose one bit of advice I'd give to my 15-year-old self is that you're not a kid. That even though people might talk to you, as adults might talk to you as if you are, everyone's the same. Like, you don't change. Like, a 15-year-old person is a 40-year-old person. Like, you've both nearly the same mental capacity. And don't feel like this person, just because he's wearing a suit, or he's working in a solicitor's office or whatever, he's different to you. That every opportunity is out there. If you want to go for it, just go for it, and don't wait till you're 30 to do so. And then the other thing would be to find the career path that suits me, to really focus on that as a young age. I suppose when I was 15, I really was, sport really was all consuming. Even though like I was obviously, like, school went well for me, I enjoyed my schoolwork. I had good friends around me that were all very academic, but I never really focused on what I would like to do after college.
Okay.
Now, as I grow up, and probably something I shouldn't really say on camera, like psychology is something I'd love to go into, and not sports psychology, like child psychology, looking at talking to, like, let's say teenagers in different situations, just over the course of my life and my friends, and what stuff that's happened that I'd find unbelievable if I was a 15-year-old, but now that I've just looking back on it and talking to them and seeing what's gone on, that's something I'd love to get into, and it's something that I wouldn't even see as work. It's something I'd love to do. I get a lot of satisfaction from it. So looking back, talking to my 15-year-old self, it's probably something that's something I'd like to find my career path, something I'd enjoy doing at that age. You're never too young to go looking for it.
Excellent. Ironically enough, that would be a line that I'd like to go down to at some point as well. Just counselling and human psychology is something that I find extremely interesting, and you know, there's a tremendous amount of giving that you can give by just listening to what people have to say.
Yeah.
Excellent. What do you think that in 20 years' time people will be laughing at in terms of what we're doing in society now?
I'd say there'll be several things, and there's a lot of people that like try to think forward and try to see, like, but I'd say driving cars.
Okay.
It's definitely just something, like, I'm in a job where I'm driving every day of the week, and I'm a rep for a bank, and I'm area sales manager in the Midlands, and I'm driving my car, and unfortunately, like, you're getting phone calls, and you've your laptop, and there's stuff that needs to be done nearly, and you're just thinking in your own head like this, and all the reps are the same, like, and it's kind of never talked about. And even like I was listening to a Joe Duffy show there, like, going back a few months when I started the role, and they were saying on it that you couldn't, like, you get phones, like, in, let's say, hands-free in the car, you couldn't get rid of them because of the rep role, like, they're on the road, they need that. So I'd say driving cars in 20 years time will just be something, that thing in the past. Now, it might be 30 or 40, but I'd say it's coming. Like, there's 150 people, I think, in Shannon testing cars at the moment, like, automated cars, like, so it's there. It's just a matter of whether we can, let's say, afford to implement it, and will be buying it. And obviously, like, it brings down, like, it's I suppose it's the whole moral dilemma of, like, I listened to a podcast about it where, like, if you're driving to a pedestrian crossing and the car's going too fast, or if not pedestrian crossing, but if there's people crossing the road and the car's going too fast and has to make a decision, there's a wall on the left, there's a little girl on the right, and you can either go straight through the crowd of people, but as the car should follow its course, the people are wrong walking across, you take the left and kill yourself and everyone in the car, or you take the right and just kill one child. And they were trying to figure out, like, they're trying to teach the car the moral dilemma.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it?
So obviously the first option would be brake, but when it's not an option, that's the problem, and that's what people have the problem with. Even though it'll bring down accidents by something like 90%, people still are like, no, I want to be able to make that decision in that time, which is, I think, is mad. I think, like, that, like, ethically, probably, like, you know, you should just follow the car's path, but, like, you go into 100 situations on it, but they're trying to teach cars this, so I'd say driving cars in 20 years time would be a thing of the past.
And of course, like, on top of that, in terms of electric cars, there's a big issue around our own carbon blueprint as well.
Yeah, definitely. Whether we'll be around.
Whether we'll be, exactly.
The way things are going.
The way things are going. If you could relive one day of your life, what would it be?
I suppose it wouldn't even be a day, if that's alright.
Yeah,
It'd
of
be
course.
more of the experience I followed the All-Ireland final. I wouldn't even say I took it for granted. It was something I was very appreciative of. The first day we played the All-Ireland final, I suppose like growing up from when, no matter what, like hurling and football is a part of my life,
Yeah.
and so is work, so is family, so is relationships, so is, let's say, social life, so is, like, I love eating out and stuff like
Yeah.
that, and all that goes with it. I love travelling, I love going sightseeing, whatever. There's loads of aspects, but hurling football, since I was 3 and 4, I had hurling and football in my hands, and I was going to matches like as long as I can remember. And just winning All-Ireland is something that, if you told 12-year-old me you're going to win All-Ireland, I would have just laughed in your face. Like, I wasn't even good enough to start my club team, Clare team, whatever, at that age, so I just laughed at you. So, I wrote in TY, when I was in transition year in school, I wrote a page about what you want to do when you're older, and it's like, at the end it was like, if in this wild imagination, in my wildest imagination, I could play football for Clare, because I never thought I'd play hurling for Clare, that would be great. And then to win All-Ireland, and you look back at something like that, you're like, it kind of...
Have you still got that?
No, Miss McDonald was the teacher I wrote it for, and she was the one who repeated it to me. She was the one that said it to me, like, that she had it, and I asked her to go look for it, and she did go look for it, and she couldn't find it. That would have been a great thing, but she read it to me in Leaving Cert, because we were playing Clare Minor in Leaving, when we were in Leaving Cert, we were playing Clare Minor, and we got the All-Ireland final.
Okay.
So that's when she actually read it to me, so it got lost between that.
In the meantime.
Yeah. But following the first day we played in 2013, we drew. I missed a goal chance at Anthony Nash, and then they went up and got a goal, and we ended up drawing by the skin of our teeth. And I thought we lost it. And I was blaming myself before the final whistle went. And then the rest of the game, I was kind of in shock. Like, and I remember just like being a blank slate. It's just like people looking like, "You're alright, you look a bit sick." Like,
Yeah.
went through the whole thing. I thought it cost Clare and All-Ireland, and then kind of winning it the second day, I was kind of more relieved, and I kind of kept myself a bit, and I suppose just the whole thing went by so fast. I'd love to have just slowed it down and just enjoy it a bit more, because it's so hard to win, and it's something I might never experience again. So ideally, probably that whole situation.
Yeah, of course, yeah. What bullet have you dodged lately?
What bullet have I dodged lately? I'd say I used to work. I won't even name the names of the banks here or anything like that.
Yeah,
I worked in a role that I wasn't very happy in, and I asked a foundation to give a talk, a mental well-being talk to the staff, and 2 nights before the talk, the person, unfortunately, due to other work commitments, couldn't make it down. So I had all this organised, like breakfast lined up, I had 50 to 70 staff coming down for this thing. Everything was organised like 9 to 10 o'clock in the morning, it's going to be done. So he pulled out, and I had given talks in secondary school, but I'd never talked to adults. So it's going to be something a bit different. So basically, there was no other option. I had to take up the reins on it. Like, so I consulted with a few different people on it, and took ideas from them, and basically used the blueprint I gave to my old secondary school when I went back talking to them in 2014. And I went to the talk, and one of the things I said in it was, if you're not happy in your life situation, all you have to do is change it. You only get one chance at this whole thing, like, so just change it. And as hard as all as it is, and I said it's very easy for me to say that, because I don't have kids, I don't have a mortgage, I've no real commitment, I'm renting, I can get up in the morning and leave, like, that's fine. But if you're not happy, put steps in place that you will get away from it. So it's kind of a bullet I literally, as soon as I wasn't happy, I said, no, this is not for me. I got out of there, I was going back to the Masters, and then this job came up, which I absolutely love. I absolutely love this job so much, so I suppose I'd have to say that.
And you know something, you're probably part of the 1 to 5% of the population who are truly happy and satisfied in their job. You know, you see so many people on an everyday basis who are essentially slaved to a profession or a job or career that they necessarily don't like. You know, so it's a good bullet that you actually did dodge, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And like there's so many people out there that will say that, like, that they work for the 24th or 25th or whatever they get paid at the end of the month. Like, and if they're happy to do that, and they are actually happy to do that, fair enough. But if they're not happy, and you know, they're really
make the break,
then they should make the break and find something to do, like, if it's out there.
Yeah, excellent.
Which is easier said than done now.
It is, and of course, like, you know, it's in an idealistic world, it's easy to do that, but in a realistic world, it's that bit more difficult. If there was one word that you could remove from the English language, what would it be and what would you replace it with?
I don't know how I'd replace it, but I'd replace the word or the pause between questions and answers when you know someone is thinking about a different answer just to try and get out of it.
To stall time.
Yeah, especially probably in GA circles when you hear these interviews after the game and you nearly know exactly what they're going to say. You don't get to see the player's personality. It's just like, what does the manager want me to say? What do the county board want to hear? What's the political answer? And it's probably the same with politicians, like the way they answer questions, like they're trained to answer questions, which is,
big time,
in my opinion, it's just so poor. Like it's such poor form. Like as in, you don't get to see their personalities at all. They're all the exact same. They're all over. It doesn't matter who's in power. It doesn't matter who's out of power. They'll all be given the same generic answers. Whatever they're taught how to say is what they'll be given back to you. Like so.
Robotic.
So the word I'm using to describe that is because I always hear it in between sentences. But I even use it myself. But I suppose given the answer that you actually mean and what you actually think to a question is something I
to be authentic.
It's what I'd implement.
Excellent. What I actually love doing is I love watching press conferences back after games, especially the All Blacks, and just listen to the words that are being used. And I've just done it myself. But listening to the words that have been used, you don't hear the ands, but you hear words like "I'm proud" and "we," not the boys. It's "we." The word's "proud," and I think that you can pick up an awful lot of just off, words during press conferences, and you can pick up an awful lot on managers' interviews as well by listening to the words that they're actually using, and you can see whether someone is coming from a really authentic place or if someone is coming from somewhere that's a bit more scripted. And I think the other side of that is I feel that interviewing players, 60 seconds, 2 minutes after a match isn't necessarily the fairest thing to do either, because it's a highly charged emotional state and players are open to expressing feelings that they necessarily mightn't want to express to the public.
But I think that's a good thing, and I know people will say, this player cursed after a game or whatever.
Yeah. Cursing is fine, I don't want to curse.
People, whatever they want to say, if it's genuine, let them at it. That's what people want to hear. Yeah. That's what the person at home is like, fair play to him, he means it, but even with the All Blacks, I don't know if you read the book Legacy.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, but great book, where these lads, it's not like when, let's say, when the 30th player is dropped and a new player comes in, it's a culture that they've just developed, and it's like in work or in sport, to develop a culture is nearly impossible, and that's why they use terms like "we" and "we're proud," and other teams in Ireland don't.
They don't.
It's an absolute culture they have, and it's unbelievable.
And having no difference between the player and the person, and one of their quotes is "better people make better All Blacks," and there's so much in that, just no difference between the player, the person, the coach, the person, the father, the son, the husband, and I certainly agree that with what you say in the dressing room should be no difference to what you say during an interview, because it should be coming from that place of true of expressing what you feel. But how did you feel about Mr. Conlon after his boxing tournament when he was stripped of the medal in the Olympics?
I suppose what he put his middle fingers up to the crowd and the judges, and probably looked bad at him, but what he did was he made a real point that was spread worldwide, and it was immiscible. You could not miss it. It was there for everyone to see. So I suppose, although in that state he wasn't thinking like that, but it worked. Yeah,
it did. Yeah, it definitely got his message out.
It worked. And people will speak badly of him, thinking he's reared bad or whatever. But that, when you're after boxing, you're training all your life for that situation, and then something like that happens where you're basically screwed because of politics, or because there's more money coming from Russia. We all saw Icarus and what was on there, what they'll do to win. So although some people say he's wrong, I agree with it. He stood for what he believes in, and he got his point across, and probably because of it, it's probably actually making a change.
Well, 100%. And the thing about it was, some people may say that it was a misrepresentation of him at that moment in time, but it probably wasn't. It was probably the truest representation of how he felt at that time. Now, will there become a time where he might regret it? I don't know, only he can answer that. Could they have left the cameras off him for a half an hour to take a breath? You know, I don't know. I suppose all these things are very much up in the air, but it definitely did get his message out there.
But
It definitely made the point.
Yeah, if he was politically correct in it, and he walked away and said, "I think I can cheat here,"
Yeah.
it wouldn't have been listened to.
Yeah.
But the way he did it, it was listened to, and it worked. Everyone knows about it.
Yeah.
The whole world knows about it. The whole world heard about it. So
It shone a light on it.
yeah,
It shone a light on
it worked for him.
So, where do you see Podge Collins in 5 years' time?
Where I'd like to see, or where I see.
Where you would like to see?
I suppose I really do like my job. I like dealing with businesses on a daily basis and going out to customers. I would like to keep that aspect of my life and maybe develop it on. And I'd also like to see myself with maybe a psychology background, maybe, and maybe pushing towards, let's say, looking at maybe talking to young kids as, let's say, outside of work.
Yeah.
Trying to incorporate that, let's say, into my daily life, and obviously from a sporting point of view, I'd like to still be playing.
Excellent, excellent. Podge, that was a fantastic chat. It was great to have you.
Yeah, thanks, Adrian.
Really appreciate you coming on.
No bother.
So just thanks to Podge, and make sure to join us the next time on OBF Beyond the Physical.